About the tunnels that have been discovered, as you just said, by Israeli soldiers who are in the Gaza.
It's in part, I suppose, that civilian deaths are the deaths of innocents and play well on television.
Thanks a lot, Scott. We'll be reaching out to you much later, of course, on more on the Gaza Strip and the Israeli-Palestinian offensive, or beg your pardon, Hamas offensive in Gaza. Scott Stern from the VOA newsroom in Washington. So here's the latest now concerning the investigations of the MH17 flight, which was downed on July 17. The two flight data recorders from the passenger jet that crashed in Mali last week have arrived in France. They are now being examined by experts. In the meantime, French flags were lowered to half-mast today for 3 days of memory of the dead, 54 of whom were French. I guess we're talking now about the Air Algérie flight, which crashed in Mali. The plane was on its way to the Algerian capital, Algiers, from Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, when it crashed owing to bad weather.
Shahadat Edid Bey and his family head to the mosque to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan and the most important festival in the Muslim faith. However, this year they are making the trip without one family member, Siti Amira, who died when Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 was shot down over eastern Ukraine. The 83-year-old, who was also the step-grandmother of Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak, was flying back from Amsterdam to spend the festival with her family. In the Kuala Lumpur home, Amira's bed is still neatly made up in anticipation of her arrival. A present lies unopened on her bed. Her nephew was brought up by Amira and called her mother. He described how his family was devastated by the sudden loss.
The family, of course, very shocked because we are going to be happy with the ashes of her here in the Hari Raya, but it's different now.
Sarah Azahara, Amira's granddaughter, said it was a struggle to get through the festival without her grandmother.
It's a total loss because if she's here right now, she will cook my favorite meal. It's Indonesian meal. It's rawon, and I love it so much. And she's the one who clean up and gets everything in position, and she will make sure that the meals is good, and she's a great cook. Yeah.
For Azahara, one of the hardest parts is being robbed of the chance to say goodbye.
I would like to say to her that I will take care of you, Grandma. It's okay. Don't worry, I'm here. It's okay. That's all.
The family now hopes to get Amira's body back as quickly as possible so that she can be laid to rest. Meanwhile, in order to prevent a repeat of this terrible incident, New York Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer and New York Democratic Representative Steve Israel made a call to outfit commercial jets with missile defense systems on Sunday, July the 27th.
They should examine two things. First, the danger from the sophisticated anti-SA-11 missiles, but second, also the danger to man-pads. It is known that terrorists possess thousands of these man-pads or shoulder-held missiles, and we've seen tragedies occur with them before.
Democratic Representative Israel, however, acknowledged concerns surrounding such an initiative.
And I know Senator Schumer and I are both concerned about the likelihood that terrorists, they copycat. So when they see a tactic that has been used effectively, they're going to try and replicate that tactic.
Western leaders have said pro-Russian separatists almost certainly shot the airliner down by mistake with a Russian-supplied surface-to-air missile. The separatists deny any involvement, and Moscow says it's not supplied them, suggesting Ukrainian forces were to blame. Meanwhile, international monitors say the fighting in Ukraine could affect the crash site, underlining the growing complexity of trying to establish who shot down Malaysia Airlines flight MH17.
When we come back after the break on The World Today, how rain, lightning and thunderstorms are causing hell for people in England. Please join us again.
If you want to know what's trending or you miss your favorite live shows, you can watch it all more on our YouTube channel. Simply log on to www.youtube.com/channels-web. Scroll down to your favorite program and click play. You can also view all uploaded videos by clicking on View All. Don't forget to subscribe and get the latest videos. If you are interesting, like them and be heard. Get connected with the channel's television YouTube page. The news at your fingertips.
Welcome back to the world today. Well, it seems to be coming down almost everywhere in the world. We're talking about the rainy season. Here in Lagos, it's raining for the past 3-4 days in Los Angeles and also in southeast England. And it's no surprise that with the rain comes all sorts of things. The brothers, I should say, of rainy season, lightning, hail, and of course floods, flash or otherwise. Those three are exactly what residents of southeast England are facing. The situation is so intense that homes have been evacuated and people have been left stranded in their cars. The odd weather brought roads and railway services to a standstill in parts of Sussex, Essex and London. Based on the situation, London Fire Brigade had to help people trapped in their cars across the capital. Network Rail said most train services will return into normal following earlier days and cancellations caused by flooding and an electricity substation being struck by lightning. Our correspondent in London, Doris Sekenwa, joins me now to fill us in on what the situation really is like. Doris, thank you for joining us on The World today. Good to have you. We know you're not in the part of London where it's raining, or else you'd be dressed up in boots and all. But tell us what it's like, really, what the weather has been like in the past few days.
Well, hi, Emma. It's been unprecedented, I tell you. Imagine a storm in summer, you know. We know it's typical of England to have this very unpredictable and unstable weather, but a storm in summer is not what you would expect, coming with lightning and hail. Particularly those in southeast London, southeast England, as you mentioned, you know, Hull, Brighton, Worthing, and other parts of London. And you can imagine this on a Monday morning, people couldn't get to work. For those that wanted to go around their area or coming to central London, it was indeed a problem. Like you rightly mentioned, an electricity station was hit by lightning, and so this affected rail services. Now, houses were flooded. Some people had to be rescued from their vehicles, as you have mentioned. And you might have even seen some of the graphic photos. Residents are totally devastated. Cars are submerged, and some homes are so flooded that you have water riding up to like the length of an adult's knee. And in London, some parts of it, though, over 50 houses are reported to have been flooded. Well, what do you expect when you have more than half of the average total rainfall for England in this month of July alone falling in an hour? Unprecedented indeed. But in Worthing right now, you have the sun coming out a bit, and residents are trying to make the best of what they can, trying to clean up. And you can even see tourists, you know, trooping out already. People are determined to still make the best of summer, make the best of the day as they can. Now, the warning is still there, red alert is still there. You never can predict with these things. So Met Office is still telling people, be careful, don't celebrate yet. You just never know. You can't tell how these things are will work out. So efforts are ongoing. People are just trying to clean up their houses. The rail lines are working, though there's still some delays in various areas.
Understandably so, Doris. If I could cut in here, Doris, understandably so, but because it was about this time last year that London also still, I know some parts of the UK did experience flooding and so on, and we did see pictures of people moving stuff from their houses in boats and in rainboats, and then emergency services coming to rescue people. Some houses had to be, of course, evacuated and abandoned and left for a while. The cost of repairing them after the floods seemed really high. Is it Is it that bad?
That was Somerset. It wasn't as bad. It's not as bad as that yet. We haven't seen, people being evacuated to the point of, families having to be moved